Hello everyone, welcome to Sharmit. In this session, we will discuss about another topic related to HTML lists. Prior to this session, we have already discussed various things related to unordered lists, right? So in this session, we are going to continue our tutorial for the unordered list itself, and where we will see how we can separate out the unordered list items into particular columns. So there might be some scenarios in your project where you are supposed to divide your list into columns, right? So in that situation, how we can utilize unordered list with columns. These things we are going to discuss in this session. But before we start the session, if you have not watched the previously released session, then I request you to please go and check out the previously published session, because in this playlist, each and every session is connected and in proper sequence. So if you watch them sequentially, then it would be really very easy for you to understand the ongoing topic. Okay, because each and every session is connected. For example, today we are going to see how we can divide the unordered list into columns, right? But before that, we should know what is unordered list, what are the types of how many types of unordered list are there, how we can set the style or positioning for the unordered list. So these things we should be aware of. If we know those basic things, then it would be really very good, easy for us to understand the ongoing topic, which is separating out the unordered list into column. Okay, so yeah, I think now we are good to start with the session. Here you can see we have one document, one program already written here, where we have just noted down the basic HTML code, right? You can see we are just showing one comment and one heading line, and that's it. So far we have added only these things, right? So if I do the save and refresh my browser, you will see it is showing me the output as HTML by Sharmit, because this is the only thing that we have applied so far. All right, so as I mentioned, we are going to talk about unordered list. So first and foremost requirement is to create the unordered list, right? So let's go and create some unordered list. So firstly, I'll put the heading. So you can see, let's go with h2. Okay, uh, so h2 I'm taking because h1 is already there, that's why. But if you don't know what is h1 h2, then you can check the heading session, and you can see session is mentioned with session number. So by that only you can understand the sequence. Okay, fine. Now we want to mention the heading. So unordered list, unordered product list. Okay, so this is the title of my heading. So let's save it, refresh it. You can see unordered product list. Fine. Now, as I always mention that for demo purpose, always go with at least 3 to 4 record, right? But for this particular topic, I would say keep at least 9 to 10 list item. Why? Because if you are using more records, more number of rows, then it would be really very easy for you to understand that separation of data, because we are going to separate the data into columns, right? So we need at least 5 to 9 to 10 records at least to show you the output pro. Although it will work with 2 3 records as well, but to give you a proper clarity, we will create at least 9 or 10 records. Okay, fine. So yeah, I think now we are good to start with the thing. So firstly, I will write here ul, which is a tag for unordered list, then enter. Then we will write li for the list item, and now we will put the first name, which is laptop. Okay, so I'll just simply write here laptop. So if I do save here and refresh your browser, you will see the first item is edit. Now it's time to add another item. So li, and I'll write mobile. After a mobile, we will press enter again. This time we will write tablet. Oh, it took table because we are using editor, right? So it auto completes. So we wanted to make it as tablet. Then we will write again li. Here we will write a printer. Then enter li. Here we will write after printer we can write camera. Then again li, speaker, again li, microphone, and one more item for headphones. So how many items we have added? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Only 8. So let's add 2 more record. Let's go with, after this, we can add keyboard, okay, and the mouse. Okay, fine. So these are the all element which we need at least for the demo purpose. So I just saved this code and refresh my browser. So by default, without separating it into columns, we will get this kind of data where we have one long record, uh, 10 records, right, in a vertical order, right? Fine. Now what we will see how we can, let's understand the requirement. Suppose someone asks you to show this list with the same data but in different column. For example, if I want to show this data into 5 column or maybe 3 column or maybe 2 column, so how we will do this? So to achieve this, we will use style attribute. So let me show you how. So first line, go to line number 18. Here you can write style, and here we will use the term columns, property columns, and after that you can put your number, like how many columns do you need for this data. So let's say I want to divide it into 2 columns, so I will simply write here 2, just save it and refresh it. So you can see it has divided the data into 2 parts, 2 columns, where first part shows laptop, mobile, tablet, printer, camera, 5 records, and the next one is showing speaker, microphone, headphone, keyboard, mouse. Okay, so this is how we can divide 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. Yes, so it has divided the data into 5 items, but it totally depend on the situation, and according to the column it divides the data. Let's say if I want to divide it into 3 columns, so I can simply mention it here as 3, save the code and refresh it. So you can see it is coming like this. Now we have 3 columns, so it has divided data in 4 4 and 2. Okay, so it totally depends on the number of column which you have provided here. Let's say if I go with 5, so what it will do, it will divide the entire data into 5 columns. So you can count it from here, 1 2 3 4 5. So overall it divided 2 elements per column. Okay, so that's why it is showing first column with laptop, mobile, then tablet, printer, camera, speaker, microphone, headphones, and keyboard, mouse. So it has divided everything into 2 records because we have total 5 rows. So it, like, this code automatically identify like how many data we have and how many data we need to divide, and accordingly it works. Now some of you might be thinking like, what will happen if I provide the total number of columns as 10? We have 10 data and I have provided 10 columns, so let's see what will happen. So if I refresh my browser, you will see now each element is separated into separate column, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. So there are total 10 columns with the data. Now this thing is very important and very useful as well. Just assume a project where you want to declare some buttons, right, in a horizontal way. So most of the time developers use this list only in order to create a buttons in a horizontal way. So what we can do, we can simply divide the data into this column, 10 columns, and we know that how to remove this bullet point, right? So we can simply remove that bullet point, and instead of text we can put the actual button, so it will become in the horizontal way, right? So that's why I'm saying that this is very important topic, and if you know how to separate out your data into columns, then it would be really very useful, and whenever there is a need in your project you can utilize it. Now what will happen if I try to pass the column number as 15? Although we have only 10 data, but we are trying to separate this into 15 columns. Is it possible? No. So if I refresh the browser, you will see it is showing me the data, 10 record data is there, but after that it keeps it blank, which is the obvious thing, right? Because we have not provided even 15 data, but still we are trying to print the 15 data or separate the 15 data. So always make sure. But now what will happen, like if I add another data, it will be separate out automatically. Okay, it will be separated out into 15 column, but till then it will show only the 10 records, because at the moment we have only 10 records available. Okay, okay, now what will happen if we try to provide pass data as 0? Will it work? Let's see. If I go with 0 column, it will show something like this, which is a garbage, right? And obviously, like if you are trying to put everything every data, but you don't want to go with columns, so how it is possible to show it, right? And that's why it is showing with this garbage stuff. So always make sure that you are providing the valid value. If you are not providing the valid value, it will go and it will show you something undesired. Okay, for example, if I go with 1.5, so is it working? No, it is showing the default data, which is correct, because if you are trying to parse something which is not even feasible, so it will give you the undesired output. We can pass one, but in that case it will go come in the default way. So it doesn't matter like if you are providing one or two, if you are providing one or not, because if you are providing one, that then also it will come in the same way, because default value is also one. So this is how we can utilize the uh, list in order to separate out the data into columns. So you can see we just change it to the proper thing, which is 5, and now it is showing everything in 5 columns. So it divided the 10 records into 5 columns. Clear? And it is the program only which decide like how many data should be there in one uh, column. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today, but there are other options also to customize these things, but that we will discuss in the separate part. For now we are just good with this thing, like how to divide the data in column. So yeah, that's all for today. In the next session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.